Summary of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. The events of Mrs. Dalloway take place entirely in London on a single day and night in the middle of June in 1923. Clarissa Dalloway is a wealthy housewife who is married to a Conservative Party politician. That night, Clarissa is having a party, and the next morning, she walks around London to get flowers. She likes the small pleasures of everyday life and often thinks back to her late teenage years at Bourton, the country home her family owned. She sees a car with a person she doesn't know but who is important, and she sees an airplane writing an ad in the sky. Peter Walsh, an old friend from Bourton who has been living in India for years, comes to see Clarissa when she goes home. Peter used to love Clarissa very much, but when he asked her to marry him, she turned him down. Peter and Clarissa have always been close friends who are also very critical of each other. Their short time together is full of events they both remember. Peter goes when Elizabeth, Clarissa's daughter, comes in. As he walks to Regent's Park, he thinks about how Clarissa turned down his marriage proposal. He keeps an eye on a young woman and thinks she's perfect. Septimus Warren Smith, a hero of World War I who is suffering from shell shock, takes over the story. Septimus waits in Regent's Park with his Italian wife, Lucrezia. Septimus thinks he is a kind of prophet and sees his dead soldier friend Evans in his dreams. Septimus used to want to be an artist, but after the war he stopped feeling and became numb. He thinks that his lack of feelings is a crime for which he should be put to death, and he often thinks about killing himself. Lucrezia has been taking Septimus to see Dr. Holmes. Dr. Holmes is sure that Septimus is fine and just in a funk. That afternoon, the Smiths go to see Sir William Bradshaw, a well-known doctor who believes in proportion and treats his patients like bullies. Sir William wants to put Septimus in a country mental hospital. Richard Dalloway has lunch with Lady Bruton, who is related to great generals, and Hugh Whitbread, a gentleman who is shallow but charming. The guys help Lady Burton write a letter about her plans to leave England. After lunch, Richard plans to tell Clarissa he loves her by giving her roses, but when he sees her, he can't. Clarissa thinks about how the soul is private and how far apart even a husband and wife can be. Richard leaves, and Elizabeth comes out of the house with her history teacher, Doris Kilman. Doris Kilman is poor, ugly, and angry, and she has been trying to get Elizabeth to become a Christian. Miss Kilman and Clarissa hate each other and are jealous of each other's impact on Elizabeth. Miss Kilman and Elizabeth go shopping together, but when Elizabeth leaves, Miss Kilman is left to feel angry and sorry for herself. While Lucrezia is making a hat, Septimus gets smart all of a sudden. The man and woman work together to make the hat and laugh as they do so. Dr. Holmes then comes to see Septimus. Lucrezia tries to stop him, but Holmes pushes her aside. Septimus thinks that Holmes is a monster who is going to kill him, so he jumps out the window and kills himself as a way to show he doesn't care. Peter hears the ambulance going by and thinks it's a great example of English culture. He stays at his hotel for a while, and then he goes to Clarissa's party, where most of the novel's rich people end up. Clarissa is the perfect hostess, but she is worried that the party won't go well, and she knows that Peter is criticizing her behind her back. Clarissa loved Sally Seton deeply when she was a teenager at Bourton. Sally Seton shows up out of the blue. Sally, who used to be an anarchist, married a rich man and now lives a quiet life. The Prime Minister stops by for a short time, but his visit isn't very exciting. Sir William Bradshaw gets there late, so his wife tells Clarissa that Septimus killed himself. Clarissa goes off by herself to think about the sudden death at her party, and she feels like she has something in common with Septimus. She admires how pure his soul is and thinks about how empty her own life is. She thinks that Septimus's death was a way for him to talk to her. While they wait for Clarissa to join them, Peter and Sally talk about the past. When Clarissa finally shows up, Peter is both happy and scared.
About the author. Virginia Woolf was born in London to a rich, well-educated family. When she was young, her mother and half-sister both died, which caused Woolf's first mental breakdown. Woolf had a good education and read a lot, but she never got to go to college like her boys did. Woolf's mental illness was caused by the death of her father and the sexual abuse she got from her half-brothers after that. She became friends with John Maynard Keynes, Clive Bell, and Leonard Woolf, all of whom were well-known thinkers. This group of friends soon became known as the Bloomsbury Group. Woolf married Leonard Woolf in 1912, but she also had an affair with the writer Vita Sackville-West that had a big impact on her life. Woolf wrote a lot. Up until the year she died, she wrote essays, talks, stories, and books. Her works helped shape modernist literature, psychology, and feminism, and she is considered one of the best literary writers in the English language. Woolf killed herself when she was 59.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.